all parts of our society are protesting against this energy.
We have 100 nuclear plants operating in our country.
I don't think that we need to be building bombs.
Nuclear power, is it an apocalypse in the making, or is it our salvation? The debate has raged for decades, sparking protests and screaming matches, pitting environmentalists against supporters of nuclear power plants. Now, the controversial new film, Pandora's Promise, says key environmentalists are switching and saying, hey, nuclear power is the only thing that can save the world from the devastating effects of coal and oil and natural gas.
I was writing for national magazines many years ago, writing articles about the dangers of nuclear power. And I had the standard point of view that I think many journalists still have, that it must be bad. I came to realize they basically avoided looking at the whole picture and only looked at the questions that seemed to prove to them that nuclear power was dangerous, as I had too. The only reason I changed my mind is that I talked to experts, physicists in particular, who were the pioneers of nuclear energy, and who carefully, one by one, explained to me again and again until it finally got through my head why it wasn't what the anti-nuclear activists felt it was, believed it was.
Let's recap and review. 3 Mile Island back in 1979, Chernobyl in 1986, and Fukushima in Japan just about 2.5 years ago, named synonymous with nuclear power catastrophes. But has the fallout from these horrors been over-exaggerated in the public's mind? Are the fears about meltdowns and radiation overblown? Is nuclear power actually safer than solar power? You can decide for yourself. Watch the premiere of Pandora's Promise this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN. Now, I'm an environmentalist. Like many environmentalists, I was under the impression that nuclear power is great when it's functioning perfectly. But if there are problems like an earthquake or some kind of meltdown, it can turn deadly and have apocalyptic consequences. This is what I believed. The film says, not so much. That nobody's ever died in the United States from the operation of nuclear reactors. The film says Fukushima looks horrific, but a lot of that was from the earthquake, and that the long-term fallout really wasn't as bad as everybody felt it was. Then, of course, the biggie, Chernobyl. The film says that it did not create all the birth defects that we've heard so much about, that a lot of people actually moved back into the dead zone, and they are living very healthy lives right now in what we thought was a mound of poison. This is a shocker. Why has nobody talked about this until now? Joining me now, Robert Stone, the director of this very controversial new film, Pandora's Promise, and it's changing the way a lot of people, including myself, think about nuclear power. Honestly, my jaw was hanging down the entire time because this goes against everything I've been taught as an environmentalist. Why did you make this film?
I came to this in just looking at the 25 years of epic failure on the part of the environmental movement to tackle climate change. We need a game changer to solve this problem. And then the more I looked at it, the more I realized, shock of all shocks, that almost everything I thought I knew about this technology turned out to be the opposite. What
this film says is that explosions like Hiroshima and Nagasaki had nothing to do with nuclear power, as in clean power plants. Those are two different things. And in fact, the biggest danger to humankind is fossil fuel production. So why do you say that nuclear power is safer than coal and oil and gas and even solar panels?
We've had nuclear power for 50 years, right?
Yeah.
We have 440 reactors, thereabouts, operating all over the world right now. In that 50 years, we've had 3 accidents. Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and Fukushima. According to the best science we have from the United Nations, only one of those accidents, Chernobyl, caused any fatalities, and those fatalities number less than 60, which is incredible. Fossil fuels kill about 3 million people every year from particulate pollution. It doesn't include climate change or ocean acidification or all these problems. You got 3 million people every year, so over 50 years, that's 150 million people dead from fossil fuels. Nuclear power over that period has killed less than 60 people. It's incredible.
Well, I got to challenge you on this
this
because there's confusion about how many people, for example, died at Chernobyl. It was considered a major catastrophe. The International Atomic Energy Agency says the total number of deaths already attributed to Chernobyl or expected in the future over the lifetime, emergency workers, local residents, etc., in the most contaminated areas, their estimate is about 4,000.
That's a projection in the future. That's not. They haven't observed that. That's a projection over the course of a lifetime.
If you ever thought that you knew anything about power plants, nuclear power plants, think again and watch it. CNN, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. The world depends upon it.